Welcome back. In this video, we'll get the monsters in and also do a little bit of work with the camera. So the monsters should be in your art assets here. And we sort of have two of them to begin with. And so we'll do the same thing. We'll just drag these two guys in because it will create the sort of the animation to go with it. So I'll drag it in and we might have to play with the size. There we are. So new animation, I'll just call it monster anim. There it is. And then we can sort of place it. I think the size is pretty good there. So just sort of place it on the ground. You know, you've got monster purple closed. Although I do want it with the open. So let me just try this again. So I can actually delete that one. I don't know if it really matters, but let's just see. If I don't know if I click. I'm going to try something here. Do this one first. There we go. Yeah, that's better. So that we've got the eye. So monster anim. There we go. So now, just changing the order that I selected. Now that monster's first, and we can just call this monster. That's good. And we should make sure that we add a few things to him here. So he's got his sprite render, his animator. We'll need a rigid body. Rigid 2D. And some sort of collider. And probably a box collider would be fine. So I'm just going to add a box collider 2D. And looks a little big on that box collider. Just bring it in a little bit. Good. Okay, so that should be good for the monster for now. Now, we will do a little bit of programming after. Now, just to show you that it should work reasonably well, I'm going to do Control D. I got this one. Second here. Control D. There we go. So we've got two monsters. If we hit play here. So there they are, flapping a little bit too quick. We might have to sort of change that up. That's good enough for now. And just shoot that. Whee! And they get knocked over. Now, there's still a few more things. And one of the things we want to do is have a bit more of a dynamic camera. Now, you could go ahead and program a camera controller. But there is also the cinema machine. And that cinema machine we haven't used before. At least in my class, it works out quite well. So if I go under Compose, let me find this. I want the package manager. There's the package manager window. And it's fetching packages. We want to find the cinema machine package. So let's just see here. There we go. And I think we want to find all. So Unity registry, probably. And Cinema Machine, there it is. So we want to add the Cinema Machine package. So we'll install that. And, you know, the reason why these aren't, included in Unity by default is that you might not need it. So the idea is to try to keep the program as small as possible and just import things when you do need them. Otherwise, you've got a lot more overhead that really might not be necessary. So it should, once it's installed, put a little drop down up here. So we'll give it a second. Maybe I'll pause. And when it's done, you can close that up. And like I was saying, there's a cinema machine up here. And there's a bunch of different cameras that you can use, and you can explore these and see what would work best. For our purposes here, we're just going to use this Create 2D camera. And so what's really nice about it, it comes in, you can choose over here, it will see who it will follow. And so, the code is basically all in here. There's no difficulty. So we can just choose the red bird. So we'll take a look at that. So now you can see that the camera focuses right on that. Now, obviously, we've got a couple little problems. It might be the depth there too. Let's just see. So if I was playing this, there we go. Now I'm pulling it out, and you can see the camera's going a little bit too far. We might have to put our scene a little bit bigger, but you can see now right? We've got that, and then we can shoot it, and then obviously it comes off. So we have to play a little bit more with the scene, but at least you've got that. Now another thing you can do is you can add a target group. So if you go under the Cinema Machine as well, there's a Create Target Group Camera, and then that brings another one in, and you can sort of choose who it's going to focus on. Like I was saying, having the bird as the focus group, it's okay, but it does present a bit of problems, right? You can't see and it resets, right? And it seems to lose it too. It creates a bit of problems because it loses the focus. So this target group idea, target group, you can create a list of who is going to be in that you want. So I'm going to put in 3 spots because I'm going to keep the bird. So I'm going to drag in the bird there, and I'm going to drag in the 2 monsters. So monster 0 and monster 1. Now what this should do is give you a little bit more, when we hit play here, it should be a bit more expansive. Oh, you know what I didn't do? Sorry, it's not going to do that until I go back to the Cinema Machine camera. Why do I have 2? Well, that's interesting. It seems to have put 2 cameras in, one with which I wanted to do with the target group, and one with the non-target group. So I'm actually going to delete this VCam 2. Delete. Okay, there we go. So we got VCam, okay, and the target group. And the target group has these. Now, there are these radiuses here. The larger it is, the more, I guess, cushioning it gives to the camera. So you might have to play around a little bit with these numbers and sort of see. And you can kind of see the camera adjusting already. I mean, if you go for a really big number, right, then it sort of stretches out like that. So you'll have to play around and see what's good, and you might have to sort of stretch the background a bit to get it to work. Let's just see with those numbers. 1, I mean, I don't know why I put 2 there, but let's just see. So if I pull, you can see, I know it gets pulled back too far here, but if I pull this back, then I can it still keeps the monsters in view and actually sort of expands the camera. And then when I let go, okay, it moves and it focuses in a bit, obviously, but it does a better job of that. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Now what we're going to have to do next, and I think we'll end this video here, but the next we'll be working on the monsters and creating a bit of code for them.